You took that photograph out of the frame 4 years ago and you did not throw it away. It is still in the frame, behind the other one, face to the back, where the card and the little metal tabs are. Keep this playing. There is something about the one you put in front that I have never said to you. Nobody knows it is there. That is not quite true, and we will come to the person who knows. You did not plan it that way. You took the frame down. You opened the tabs. You had the new picture in your other hand. And there was a second where you were holding both of them, and the bin was 2 steps away. You put it back in, behind, and you closed the tabs over the 2 of them together. Do not turn this off here. I am not going to tell you to take it out and look at it. Everyone who knows about that photograph has an opinion. Burn it. Frame it properly. Put it in an album where it belongs. Move on. They mean it kindly, and every one of them is asking you to make a decision. You have not made that decision in 4 years, and there is a reason, and it is not the one they think. So, let me start with what everyone else gets wrong about this. They think you kept it because you cannot let go. That is the whole of their theory. That somewhere in you, there is still hope, and the photograph is the hope. And if the photograph went, then the hope would go with it, and you would be free. Here is the first true thing. You are not keeping it because you want them back. You worked out a long time ago that they are not coming back, and you did not need anyone to tell you. You have arranged your whole week around that fact. You have stopped setting the extra place. You did the practical things and you did them early. The photograph is not hope. It is something else, and I am going to name it before the end. And you have tested this on yourself already. There was a week last year when you nearly did it. You had the frame open on the kitchen table, both hands free. The bin liner changed that morning. You stood there long enough for the kettle to boil and click off behind you. Then you put the tabs back down and washed up, and did not mention it to anybody. That was not hope stopping you. Hope does not feel like that. Hope makes you keep a phone charged and check it twice an evening. This was heavier than that, and quieter, and it did not want anything at all. And I know exactly what you were thinking in the second, when you were holding both of them. Now look at what you put in front. You have never described it out loud to anyone, so I will. It is a landscape, or it is a building, or it is a view from somewhere you went once. There is no person in it. Watch that, because it was deliberate. You had photographs with people in them. Good ones. Ones where everybody is laughing, and nobody is looking at the camera. Any of them would have filled that frame. You chose the one that could not be asked about. Here is the second true thing. You did not choose that picture because you liked it. You chose it because it was safe. A landscape does not start a conversation. Nobody comes into your front room, looks at a hillside, and says, "Who is that?" or asks how they are doing now, or goes quiet, in the particular way people go quiet when they realize they have asked the wrong thing. You built a room that nobody could put a foot wrong in. You did it for their sake, or you told yourself it was for their sake. It cost you the room. And there is one more layer under that, and it is the reason you could not throw the first one away. If there is a frame in your house with something behind the picture, type Amen below. You do not have to say what it is. I want to say where this shows up, because it is never the frame. You will know yours before I finish the list. It is the story you have shortened. You used to tell it with them in it, and now you tell a version where the thing just happened, with no one in the room, and you have got very good at it. It is the drawer you do not open when somebody is helping you look for something. It is the way you answer how many are in your family, and then immediately ask them a question, so the number does not get looked at. It is the album you keep on the low shelf, and not the high one, so that nobody browsing ever pulls it out by accident. It is the fact that the frame is on the shelf and not the wall, because a shelf can be turned slightly. One of those is yours. You did not have to hunt for it. There is a worse one, and I will come to it before the end, and it is none of those 5. Put the frame down for a minute. It has stood there 4 years. It will stand there through a breath. Breathe with me here. In. Nothing is being decided tonight. Out. And nobody is asking you to choose. In. The frame is not a statement. Out. It never was one to me. Stay with me now, because the next part is where the answer is, and it starts with a list. Look at what the book does with names it could easily have removed. There are 4 lists of the 12 in the New Testament: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and again at the start of Acts. 4 separate chances to write the role of the men who followed him. Judas is in the first 3 by name, every time. And every time, the text adds the phrase, who also betrayed him, who became a traitor. They could have written 11 and moved on. The betrayal was over. He was dead by then. Nobody needed the name. And then look at the 4th list, the one in Acts, after everything. He is not in it, because he is gone, and the text says so out loud. It explains where he went. It explains that another man was chosen to take his place. Not one of those 4 lists pretends there were only ever 11. There is one more piece, and it is smaller, and it is about a family tree. Matthew opens his gospel with the ancestry of Jesus, and an ancestry in that world was a boast. It was the one document a family polished. He puts 4 women in it, which was already unusual. And then look at who. Tamar, who got what she was owed by a trick. Rahab, who ran a house in Jericho. Ruth, who was a foreigner from a people they were told not to marry. And then the 4th one, and this is the line I want. He does not write Bathsheba. He writes her of Uriah, the wife of Uriah. Uriah is the man David had killed. The name of the wronged man is written into the family tree of the Messiah, in the place where the woman's own name would go, so that the wound is unreadable without him. Put those 2 side by side, because the book rarely repeats itself by accident. A list of friends that keeps the traitor's name and states plainly what he did, and a family tree that keeps the name of the man who was wronged, in a document whose entire purpose was to look good. God's records do not remove people. He does not shorten the story to make the room easier to sit in, and he has never once needed a person to be gone from a picture in order to know where they are now. Hold both of those. The 3rd thing depends on them. Let me come into your house now. One of these is yours. To the one whose photograph is of a person who died, and who has been told that 4 years is long enough to have it on the wall. It is not a length of time anybody else gets to set. To the one whose photograph is of a person who is still alive and 30 minutes away, and that is a completely different weight to carry, and it gets far less sympathy. To the one who is in the photograph too, in a version of yourself you cannot look at, and it is not the other person who makes it hard. To the one who took it out because somebody knew was coming, and who has never worked out whether that was kindness or cowardice, and has settled on not thinking about it. To the one who did throw one away, in one afternoon, quickly, and has never once told anybody, and would give a great deal to have it back. There is one underneath all 5, and it is why I brought up the frame at all. Here is the 3rd thing. You did not keep it because you could not let go. You kept it because throwing it away would have made you the one who ended it. Read that again slowly, because you have been reading 4 years of not deciding as weakness. Somebody has to be the one who closes a thing. In your case, nobody ever did it out loud. There was no conversation, no last day, no sentence either of you could point at afterwards. And you have been offered the chance to close it, over and over, by your own hand, at that bin, 2 steps away, and every time you have refused to be the person who did it. And notice that you have never once put it to yourself in those words. You have called it laziness. You have called it not getting round to it. You told somebody in your family that you keep meaning to sort that shelf out one of these days. None of those is true, and you have known it was not true every single time you said one of them out loud. There was never anything on that shelf to sort. And you have never been asked to. Not once. And not by me. Here is the answer to the question you asked at the start. You have been treating that frame as a verdict, as though what stands in the front of it is your official statement about who is in your life. It is not a verdict. It is a difference in kind. A frame is a thing you look at. That is all it has ever been. It holds what you want in front of your eyes this year, and it has never once been a list of who exists, or who counted, or who you loved. You have been reading a shelf as a ledger. That is the whole mistake, and it is very nearly over. And look at what that means about the 4 years. Nothing was decided in them. Nobody was written out. A piece of card was turned over, and 2 metal tabs were closed, and that is the whole of it. And it did not change one thing about who that person is to you. That is not the same as knowing what to do with the frame, and I am not going to blur those 2 things tonight. It is smaller than that, and it comes first. Hold it. There is one more turn in it. Breathe with me once more. In, I have never kept a frame. Out, and I have never taken anybody out of one. In, nothing was written out. Out. Not in 4 years, and not in 40. Come back tomorrow, and the day after that. A shelf does not stop being a shelf, because one evening went well, and I am not going to pretend to you otherwise. There will be a new message here every single day. Subscribe, and turn the bell on, so this voice is in the room on the mornings when the shelf looks loud. Before I go, there is the thing about the record. I have not explained it yet. Look at the light on that shelf now, late in the afternoon, the way it comes across low and lands on the glass of the frame. It does not stop at the glass. It does not read what is in front and decide how much of itself to give. It goes through the front picture and through the one behind it in the same instant, because that is what light does, and it has never once been told which of the 2 it was for. Follow it along the shelf as far as your eyes will go. It is not choosing anything. It has never chosen anywhere I am. Stay for the last part. It is the reason for all of this. And a door of warm light standing open at the end of the room. You have imagined arriving there and being asked to account for what you did with that person, and you have quietly assumed the frame will be brought up. Nobody is going to open the frame. Nobody is going to ask which one was in front. Now the thing I held back. It is about that photograph, and it is not what you have spent this evening bracing for. Here it is. You have been waiting for me to tell you which one belongs in the front. I am not going to, and not because I am being gentle, because I do not have a front and a back. Here is what I came to say. There is no behind with me. You have arranged your house in layers. What is on the shelf? What is in the drawer? What is in the album? What is in the loft in a box you have not opened? I do not have that system. There is no second layer, no card, no tabs, nothing facing the wall. Every person you have ever loved is in the front, in the same light, none behind another. And there is the part I actually held back, and it is not about the photograph. You have been counting who noticed. 4 years, and you have a number, and it is small. Somebody did notice. One person, early, who came into that room, looked at the shelf, understood, and said nothing. You carried that silence as proof that even they did not care. That silence was the kindest thing anybody did for you that year, and they knew it at the time. There is one more thing I have not told you, and it is not about that frame. It is about a voice on an answering machine that you have never let anybody delete, and the reason you have never once played it all the way to the end. Not tonight. Tomorrow. Come back, and I will tell you what is in the last 4 seconds. You are loved. You are seen. You are mine.